Brandon Mudd. Brandon, good morning.
Good morning.
You have this book called An Interview with Your Family, the Complete Guide to Documenting Your Loved One's Life Stories.
This book is the excuse to put all of the devices down for just a little bit of time and then have a conversation with each other. The book was actually influenced by my grandfather and my father. When my grandfather passed, I realized I didn't know anything about him as I was flipping through some old pictures. And he was an FBI agent in San Francisco during the 50s and 60s.
Wow.
He had a lot of stories to probably tell. I didn't know any of them because he just cared about me, which is great, except for when he's gone and I can't get those stories back. Well, fast forward, I started interviewing my mom's set of parents and my grandparents, and I was doing that, and my dad got sick, and I wasn't even thinking to interview him, let alone videotape him, and then he got sick to the point where it didn't look good. So I busted out a camera, and I set it up, and I actually wrote the first chapter of this book based upon this interview to make sure that I had all my notes and everything else. And it was a life-changing thing because, unfortunately, my dad has passed. And that interview is with me and my family and my family's family. And then, we just had our first son 6 months ago. And now he'll get a chance to know his grandfather. And that wouldn't exist if I didn't take the time to do that interview. So the book has a formal interview section where you set it up with your father, your grandfather, and it's a step-by-step process. It makes it really easy, and it documents everything. And so you don't lose out on all of that unbelievable footage of your grandparents. So nobody should have an excuse to not have that. I mean, 70% of the population has a smartphone. That means 70% of the population in the United States right now can flip on a phone right now and do a quick interview with their loved ones and have it for generations to come to enjoy. The book itself is the excuse to stop and put everything down.
Brandon Mudd, author of An Interview with Your Family, the Complete Guide to Documenting Your Loved One's Life Stories. Is it preferable in this digital age to capture this on video or audio digital, or do you write it down old school? Is there any one preference, you think?
It's funny. I actually write about all of them. And when I started with my grandparents on my mom's side, it was all journaling because I thought, the whole camera just seems cumbersome and it just puts people in a different mood. But then when I started doing the video, I realized what a gift this is, not only to myself, but to all family members. And so my preference is actually video, but start off without video. In fact, start off without even documenting anything. Just open up the book and start having some conversations. With the average person watches 5.5 hours of TV a day, there's an easy carve-off of 30 minutes here and there to just open up the book and start an interesting conversation. I got a call from a gentleman who got the book and who actually interviewed his dad, and he said, I thought I knew everything about my dad, and I learned some stories I had never heard before, and unfortunately we lost him a week ago very suddenly, and he's like, I cannot thank you enough for this book because it opened up these couple of stories that I'd never heard. And so this is a personal thing for me. I can't stress enough the importance of spending time with your family and having real conversations, deep conversations, understanding your loved ones.
How can people get a hold of this book?
Amazon.com's got it. You can just look up my name, Brandon Mudd, or just An Interview with Your Family, or you can go to aninterviewwithyourfamily.com. I look forward to hearing feedback from your audience and tell me the questions that I missed, because my plan is to make this a living, breathing book that I continue to add questions, because my whole point is to start the conversation. It's not the end-all, be-all, but this book will give you that excuse to have quality time with your loved ones.
It's called An Interview with Your Family, the Complete Guide to Documenting Your Loved One's Life Stories. Brandon Mudd, thanks for being with us. This is fantastic.
Hey, thank you. I really appreciate it.